Midwest.
I was wondering, for both of you, which one was your favorite episode?
Favorite episode?
I keep going back to the roller coaster because
Yeah.
it was the first one we ever did, and it's the first time we worked together since we
12
created
years.
the show. It had been 12 years before we got to get together and do that episode and write it. And
And it was really just all me and Swampy.
Wow. Sitting in a room in London. He came. I was living in London at the time. Dan came. We worked on it there, and then I took a trip out here, and we worked on it at his place for I think a week.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of.
I think that's the
near-
quintessential episand. It really sort of sets everything up. I'm very happy.
If it was second, it'd be the one where they got the band back together because we had characters named Danny and Swampy and a band named Love Handle, which is just great.
I like that one. There's a whole bunch that I think that are really dear to my heart. Just for I think how well they play. I like the Fast and the Phineas. I like that sinking feeling. I like Watching and Waiting. It's called Don't Even Blink. There's a lot that I think really work well. And you know, the good thing is we're working on our 100th episode right now. And
I think we've been 100 already.
well, it hasn't been 100 on the air yet, but we're in the middle of writing the 100. So I think we've got like 70 or so on the air. And I feel like most of them I can watch without cringing. You know, I think most of them are really good episodes of TV.
I know the one that thinks he was cringe.
Which is what?
I won't tell you.
You'll have to tell us.
I really hate Boyfriend from 20,000 BC.
Why?
27,000.
There's some shows that, because we know what we went through to get them
Yeah.
and what ended up and what we had to give up, we can't see it in a realistic light anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like that show happens to be his wife's favorite, or one of her favorites.
Wow.
She likes it a lot.
She really loves that
She laughs
episode.
out loud. I don't have enough distance from it yet to enjoy it. I just sort of see what's wrong with it.
Because of the process that you went through, or just?
Well, it's also like sometimes it's animation things that don't work the way you want them to and stuff like that. I just see nothing but mistakes all the way through it when I see it. But kids online love it. You know, I understand that it plays well to other people. It's just my understanding.
Morgan, did you find someone with a Perry hat on?
I did.
I love your hat.
It's a real Perry right here, actually.
That's pretty good.
As creators of the show, how does it feel to be able to put yourself into the show, like as characters?
Well, that's really fun, and it makes it makes the characters not only more real to us, but to our writing staff too, because they know our senses of humor, and they know how I'm going to read something as Doofenshmirtz or how he's going to read something as Monogram. So I think it actually makes it easier to write those characters because they sort of know us as those characters.
What kind of hat do you have on? Is that a Kick Butowski
I
hat?
came up here just to find that out, actually.
Oh, okay. This is a yellow hat. I can't tell.
I still don't know.
Okay.
You write and you also do the voice.
Yeah, we write. Swampy and I do the show much like we would if we were just making a show in our garage. We tend to do a little bit of everything. We write the songs. We run the writers' room for the show, and we write a lot of episodes. And we do the voices, and we draw, and we just do as much of it as we can.
Let's be clear, nobody else helps us do this.
We have a lot of other people. We have a lot of other people involved, but we have our hands in everything.
Do you guys sleep?
No.
I don't sleep a lot. Until I was in my 40s, I never slept more than 5 hours in a night.
Wow.
So and
I'm
quite often,
I'm an 8-hour a day man.
if I can get 3 hours of sleep, that's usually enough for me. And but then I had kids, and you experience a whole new level of tired when you become a parent. So now I often will actually sleep 8 hours, but still, there's 2 or 3 days a week I usually wake up. If I wake up at 3 in the morning, I'm just awake. I can't get to go back to sleep.
We got another Perry up here. Full on.
I love that
Perry
day.
painting. A whole Perry mask.
That's amazing.
Bill hat, everything.
Yes.
What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Hope, and I'm from Chula Vista.
Excellent. Hi, Hope.
What's your question?
Where do you get the idea for Phineas and Ferb to have a platypus, and why is he blue? Or teal.
Why not a platypus? I mean,
Yes.
beaver tail, duck bill, webbed feet, poisonous spur, and you just look at it and you think action.
and I colored him a bunch of different colors before we settled on blue. I sort of looked how he would look, you know, and this was back before, he actually became blue before we could even color on the computer, you know, or before I could, you know. And so I Xeroxed off a whole bunch of Phineas and Ferb and Perry, and I colored them all sorts of different colors, and that was the one that looked better next to the colors that I liked for Phineas and Ferb.
The other big advantage to a platypus is if he became really popular, people wouldn't run out and buy platypuses as pets. And then discard them later. And nobody really knows that much about platypuses, so we can make stuff up. And except for some people in Australia and New Zealand, who's going to know?
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't really have to make up stuff with a platypus. A platypus, it's an egg-laying mammal. It's one of the few venomous mammals that actually has a poisonous dew claw or something, and it sweats milk. I mean, these are all true things about platypuses that sound like we must be making them up.
All right, we got a pirate question up here.
Arr.
Hi. Is there ever going to be an episode where Isabella thinks, man, I should have kissed him?
It's possible. We've been talking about, like, calling back to the, you know, like having them suddenly remember everything that went on here in some future episode, and then, you know, like having Monogram just come in and flash them real quick like the Men in Black. But we'll see.
Last question. Oh, I know it's tough.
What? No.
Yeah.
Huh?
We're already out of time. I can't believe it. So
Oh.
this has got to be a really good question.
Don't leave.
So
Let's
no
try it.
pressure.
Everybody stay here.
First,
No, kidding,
I want to say thank you so much for making a show that my whole family could
Well, thank you for watching the whole thing.
do. Now, how is it that you can make, or where do you get the great ideas for every single show? Like, one is a roller coaster, the next is the heads. Like, how many writers and how do you guys come up with all these great ideas?
Well, we have a smart aleck answer to that, and we have a real
The smart
answer to
aleck
that.
answer is several years ago, Dan and I were at a garage sale and purchased a good idea generator that was slightly broken. We negotiated for it and actually got it for $5.99, took it home and had it fixed. It became a really good idea generator. And we've used it ever since, and we keep it in Dan's garage and crank it up whenever we need a good idea.
But the real answer to that is when that's not actually true. The real answer to that is that when we first got the show picked up, they wanted 16 half hours, and we thought, that's 32 11 minutes. How are we going to come up with 32 stories for this?
And we
But
panicked.
the more you do this, the more you write, the more you create, the more you exercise those muscles, if you will, the easier it becomes. And the more you can draw on the experiences of these fictional characters to make more stuff happen. And at some point, we realized that it doesn't even have to be the kind of thing that a 9-year-old boy would want to do.
Phineas and Ferb helped plan their aunt's wedding.
Yeah, it's like what 9-year-old boy wants to plan a wedding. But if it's presented to them in such a way that they think, hey, I wonder if we could make this fun, you can make anything fun. And it really just became sort of like, well, we don't say no to any real ideas about what Phineas and Ferb would do. We say, how would Phineas and Ferb make this a fun thing to do? And so, but it just becomes easier the more you do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Povenmire, Jeff Swampy. Oh, it's been such a terrific audience. Thank you so much. Wow, standing ovation is this. Thank you guys for coming out to see the screening. You are the first to see this before anybody else. You can catch it again on Disney Channel, the actual premiere, August 5th. And we're so glad that you decided to join us today for Time Warner Cable's presentation of Phineas and Ferb Across the Second